Without warning and without hesitation, the killer whale appears like a deliberate force of nature. Its power lies not only in its massive body, but in how each glide slices through the ocean with controlled precision. Every movement is a decision, every surge of water an unseen snare. In that world, fear does not begin with pursuit. It begins with the realization that escape is no longer possible. In narrow straits, the great white shark stands as a symbol of absolute dominance. With a body stretching over 18 feet, razor-sharp teeth, and a bite force exceeding 4,000 pounds force, it appears almost like a flawless design of nature. Its silent presence alone is enough to make every other creature remain cautious. But today, the hunter will become the hunted. The surface rhythm shifts. A shadow weighing nearly 15,000 pounds rises from the depths, an orca. There is no reckless assault, only advanced intelligence and disciplined formation. Reading currents, judging distance, then locking onto the target through the ocean's acoustic sensing, disrupting the opponent's awareness. Rather than a direct confrontation, the orca approaches from a blind angle, delivering a precisely timed impact to the side, turning the shark upside down. In that moment, the shark enters a temporary state of immobility, as if its nervous system has been disoriented. The chase ends before it ever fully begins. The objective is not a display of dominance, but the liver, a vast internal energy reserve, rich in nutrients. This is how the ocean repeats an old rule. The strongest is not the one with the sharpest teeth, but the one that unites collective strength with superior intelligence. Dolphins are the ocean's endurance athletes. With long, streamlined, flexible bodies, they can pivot 180 degrees in an instant and surge forward at speeds of around 25 miles per hour. They possess strong memory, sophisticated communication, and tight group coordination. For this reason, orcas never pursue blindly. Every move is calculated. Guided by a leading female, the orca pod fans out and maintains constant pressure from behind, forcing the dolphins to change direction and break formation. Another group quietly moves ahead, forming moving underwater barriers. A few individuals employ a leap strategy, launching nearly 20 feet above the surface to observe the dolphins from above. These jumps also generate powerful surface disturbances that interfere with the dolphin's navigation. When one individual becomes separated from the protective circle, the orcas accelerate immediately, delivering a brief but precise strike that disrupts momentum. They then regroup as a tightly bonded family, turning the moment into a coordinated gathering within the open ocean. But the ocean never truly rests. The orcas continue onward, ready for the next challenge in the endless cycle of survival. Beneath drifting ice in waters colder than 30 degrees Fahrenheit, the seal is a master of survival. A thick layer of blubber insulates a body weighing around 600 pounds, while sensitive whiskers read every ripple that signals danger. Resting atop an icy fortress, the seal believes it is safe until the water below subtly shifts. The orcas begin with a technique known as wavewashing. The pod lines up side by side, swimming in parallel with flawless rhythm, accelerating before diving in unison. A final, powerful tail sweep sends a wave nearly 5 feet high, a massive surge of water that rattles the ice and throws the seal off balance. Wavewashing is not an impulsive act, but intelligence refined across generations. Young orcas spend 3 to 5 years closely following their mothers and pod, learning how to read waves, assign roles, and coordinate flawlessly. Amid the brutal cold, the ocean repeats an old truth. Raw strength may shake the ice, but collective memory and the ability to learn are what allow a predator to endure through time. In the cold waters around subantarctic islands, sea lions often wander and bask near the shoreline, their playful growls blending with the sound of waves, creating a brief sense of calm. When vigilance fades to its lowest point, the ocean chooses that moment to reclaim the balance of survival. A rising tide marks the perfect window. An orca cuts through the surf, accelerates, and surges onto the shallows, knocking balance aside and leaving the sea lion disoriented. A powerful jaw, with bite pressure estimated at up to 19,000 pounds per square inch, holds firm, while the tail fluke generates thrust, drawing the heavy body back into deeper water before the tide recedes. This strategy demands near-perfect precision. A single miscalculation could leave the hunter stranded as well. When an adult sea lion reaches deeper water, the orca adapts again. It targets a vulnerable point along the flank, delivering a forceful impact without prolonged struggle. As the sea lion becomes temporarily immobilized by the physical shock, the pod moves in, bringing the hunt to a swift and controlled conclusion. Gray whales are colossal travelers, weighing roughly 6 times as much as a killer whale. Each year, they leave the icy waters of the Arctic and journey toward the warm lagoons of Baja California, carrying the survival hopes of an entire new generation. Alongside her calf, the mother whale becomes a living shield, positioning herself between her young and every potential threat within the sea. Along a migration spanning more than 10,000 miles, their greatest challenge comes from a patient and unyielding rival, the killer whale. There is no haste, no chaos. They work in coordinated groups, repeatedly testing ways to break the protective circle around the calf. The pressure can last for hours, even days, with repeated harassment designed to wear down both mother and young. If the mother maintains steady breathing, stays close to the coastline, and keeps the calf tightly within formation, both may slip free from the encirclement, gradually fading from the predator's view. But when time and coordination take their toll, immense size slowly loses its advantage. On this journey, no strength is absolute. Even a giant driven by enduring maternal instinct may pay a price for falling half a step out of rhythm in the endless dance of survival. On the deep seafloor, stingrays are masters of concealment, nearly vanishing from sight. But the orca has its own method of hunting. It combines sharp vision, acoustic sensing, and controlled tail sweeps to stir up the thin layer of sand, forcing the hidden ray to abandon its natural camouflage. Once the prey is exposed, the predator needs only a measured glide to place the stingray at a clear disadvantage. What stands out here is not raw power, but strategy. Two coordinated tactics working together show that the orca adapts to each species and each environment, like a true tactician of the ocean floor. Humpback whales are the wandering artists of the ocean. With bodies weighing up to 88,000 pounds, a distinctive arched back, and pale patterns along the underside, they stand out clearly against the cold gray sea. Their pectoral fins, stretching up to 16 feet, sweep through the water like massive arms, powerful enough to make most predators hesitate. For orcas, however, humpback whales are not a test of strength, but a challenge of patience and strategy. They rarely confront a full group of adults head-on, instead focusing on mother and calf pairs that fall out of rhythm. Each time a mother surfaces to breathe becomes an opening, a moment when the orca pod quietly adjusts its angle, gradually draining precious oxygen and endurance. Most unsettling is the manipulation of instinct. One orca imitates the motion of lifting a calf onto its back, the same action a mother uses, luring the young away from the shelter of the massive pectoral fins. A difference of just a few inches in timing is enough to isolate the target. After hours of resistance, as the mother grows exhausted, the orca pod closes in, and the hunt comes to an end. Across the cold sea, beneath the fading echoes of humpback songs, the ocean whispers a stark truth. In the dance of survival, even those who protect with open arms can falter by a single missed breath. Across frozen forests and icy rivers, the grizzly bear stands as a marker of untamed strength. It does not rely on chance. It observes, selects the moment, and then acts with remarkable precision. Its power is not found only in muscle, but in the ability to read terrain, shifting winds, and timing. When the moment opens, weight turns into speed, and distance disappears in an instant. But when a true challenge emerges, how does the grizzly bear choose to face it? The grizzly bear is a symbol of North America's wilderness, living among pine forests and cold valleys where strength is shaped through every season. Many individuals can exceed 800 pounds and stand over 7 feet tall when upright, combining endurance with sudden bursts of acceleration that support both hunting and self-defense. Thick fur helps the grizzly endure harsh cold, while a highly sensitive sense of smell allows it to track signs from far away. Because of this, the grizzly bear is not only an efficient survivor, but also a natural force that influences prey behavior and maintains balance across the land it dominates. Wolves are among nature's most formidable predators. A pack can number up to 10 individuals, operating like a tightly organized system. They communicate through howls, eye contact, and subtle movement, turning each hunt into a coordinated effort marked by precision and discipline. But when facing a grizzly bear, a creature defined by both strength and authority, tension rises immediately. In Yellowstone National Park, a grizzly bear buries a recently claimed food source beneath deep snow. The scent draws a wolf pack closer. At first, only a few individuals appear along the edge of the clearing. Then the numbers gradually increase. They spread out from multiple directions to apply pressure, yet the grizzly remains firm and does not yield. Its persistence becomes a standing barrier. The closer the wolves move in, the more the risk outweighs the reward, until the pack withdraws together. But the balance does not always favor the bear. In rare situations, when numbers are sufficient and formation remains disciplined, a wolf pack can become the stronger pressure, surrounding from multiple angles and forcing the bear to step back to avoid sustained confrontation. Each encounter becomes a test, the authority of a powerful individual measured against the strategy of a collective. And in the wild, there is rarely an absolute winner, only the side that manages to hold its advantage longer. The black bear is agile, an excellent climber, and highly cunning. When facing a massive grizzly bear, it does not take unnecessary risks. Instead, it relies on composure and calculation. The black bear understands that a single mistimed move can carry serious consequences, so avoidance remains the priority. In one encounter, a black bear clings tightly to a tree trunk, hesitating to come down. Below, the grizzly bear holds its ground at the base, patiently maintaining position, as if sealing off escape and asserting control over the surrounding forest. This meeting is not an equal contest of strength. It is a test of judgment and restraint between two different survival strategies. At first glance, the grizzly bear's massive frame can seem slow and unhurried, but that calm appearance is misleading. When the moment opens, it can surge forward at speeds of up to about 35 miles per hour over short distances, fast enough to close in on agile animals like deer. During summer, grizzly bears often observe deer herds from afar, using thick brush and uneven terrain to move in quietly. When a brief opening appears within the group, it accelerates instantly with long, powerful strides to gain the advantage. In those short moments, the prey is quickly subdued through the grizzly's strength and precision. For individuals separated from the herd, especially females that have recently given birth and move more cautiously, the grizzly's advantage becomes even clearer. It checks wind direction and reads scent carried through the air from a distance, sometimes up to about 2 miles, before choosing a concealed approach. As the adult deer flees in panic, the young one may fall behind, becoming an important energy source that helps the grizzly bear maintain its strength. From late summer into early fall, Alaska's rivers enter their most active salmon season. Wave after wave of salmon completes a migration of more than 1,000 miles upstream to spawn, gathering densely at natural bottlenecks such as waterfalls, shallow stretches, and narrow bends. For the grizzly bear, this signals hyperphagia, a period of near-constant feeding to build fat reserves before hibernation. At peak demand, an adult may require roughly 10 to 40 salmon per day, drawing on rich fats, protein, and omega-3s to increase reserves while maintaining muscular endurance. At waterfalls, the bear selects its position with intent, much like setting a trap. It stands where the current forces fish to leap, eyes fixed on the surface, then makes a single, well-timed grab when the moment opens. There is no need for long pursuit, just the right angle, the right timing, repeated with practiced precision. Late in the season, as water levels shift and salmon weaken after the long journey, the rhythm changes. The bear leaves the falls and moves to lower river sections and slower water, where fish gather and require less effort to secure. This is an energy-saving strategy. Steady intake, reliable gains, building reserves for the cold months ahead, turning each riverside day into stored value for a long winter. What stands out is that this is more than feeding instinct. It is an ecological cycle. The salmon sustain the bear, and the bear's movement carries nutrients back into the forest, renewing the land in return. Within dense forests, where narrow trails weave along slopes and valleys, the grizzly bear moves like a guardian of boundaries. Each individual holds a home range that varies by sex and food availability, often spanning about 50 to 500 square miles, marked by scent left behind as it rubs against tree trunks. Yet this vast land is rarely truly calm, because the most serious rivals are other grizzly bears. The moment it detects another bear's scent overlapping its own, composure fades, replaced by tension and the rising risk of confrontation. Encounters between two mature individuals often begin with deep vocal warnings and clear display postures. They circle, observe, and assess which one holds the advantage. Partially exposed jaws reveal thick, powerful canines, serving as a signal that a well-placed bite could immediately shift control. If neither individual yields, events unfold quickly and decisively. In the end, the one that holds ground claims control of the area and its advantages, leaving a clear message about who now sets the terms. The highest tension appears when a mother grizzly with cubs is approached, especially if the other bear is a fully grown male seeking a quicker return to breeding opportunity. Disputes between adults can carry risk for cubs, so the mother remains highly alert and ready to surge forward to block the intruder at the edge of distance. There is no need for a long pursuit. Pushing the other bear out of the cub's safety zone, repeated as needed, is often enough until the rival chooses to withdraw. In this way, the grizzly bear's strength is not defined by dominance alone, but by protective instinct, where maternal care becomes a living boundary that helps preserve balance across North America's forests. Moose is North America's giant elk, with adults that can weigh more than 1,500 pounds and carry antlers spanning over 6 feet like living steel. Moose often live alone and move at an unhurried pace, but when threatened, They can unleash explosive power that makes many predators hesitate. But in nature, advantage can flip at any moment. The grizzly bear uses terrain around lake shores or riverbanks, steering a moose into shallow water and muddy ground where balance becomes harder to maintain. In that moment, the edge is no longer about size, but about how well the grizzly reads the landscape. With even a brief opening, it closes in from behind, brings the target down, and claims a prize large enough to sustain it for days. Even so, along another shoreline, a mother moose traveling with her calf can respond with extreme determination to protect the young. A single well-timed block, a firm warning at the right moment, can be enough to make an intruder reconsider the risk. In the end, this is a contest of composure and timing. A moose can escape through endurance and vigilance, but when the terrain favors the grizzly bear, the balance can shift in a single beat. After each hunt, the ocean returns to silence, a reminder that this is simply the natural rhythm of survival. If the intelligence and discipline of killer whales spark curiosity, staying with more stories of the wild keeps those perspectives alive. A like or a subscription is a way of saying that nature's balance is still worth telling. Sharing the video helps more people see an ocean shaped by fairness, where every species holds on to its place in life. Thank you for listening to the Whispers of the Ocean.